Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today, and this story starts in Australia. This is an operation, an international one between the FBI, Australian law enforcement and also Europol as well. The FBI has revealed that they set up a fake encrypted phone network chat straight after Encrochat went down, and shortly afterwards Sky ECC. This was spread through the underworld via secret informants, where they basically got people to say this was an okay thing to use and this was a secure means of communication. This led to some of the top criminals in Australia using this software, and it was being monitored by the police, who were then sharing the information with the Australian Federal Police. And now they have arrested hundreds of people, and we definitely have more video footage than any other media site as well, because they choose what to show you and they select and edit the footage that you should see. But we have included everything that has been given in the press releases. The Australian police say they've charged 100 people as being part of an organised crime gang after developing an encrypted communication network and exclusively marketing it to organised criminals. The encrypted communications has revealed plots to kill enemies, mass drug smuggling, gun distribution, and was covertly run by the FBI in America. More than 4,000 police from the AFT and the state and territory police have been involved in the execution of hundreds of warrants from the 7th of June this year. The operation was called Ironside, and it covertly began 3 years ago. So this was even before Encrochat was even hacked. So they've been planning this internationally for a long time. Operation Ironside has led to the arrest of 224 offenders and 526 charges in the mainland Australian state of Victoria on its own. 3.7 tons of drugs have been seized, 104 weapons, $44 million in cash, and assets expected to be in the millions of dollars, Australian dollars. They have seized under the operation since 2018. The AFT has acted on 20 threats to kill other people and potentially save lives, and a significant number of innocent people as well. The intelligence that the state gathered from the FBI led to these charges. More arrests have been taking place offshore and onshore in a coordinated global response by Operation Ironside. The AFP are likely to seek extradition requests for a number of people that are living abroad, and this comes as tons of drugs and hundreds of arrests have been made in other countries around the world who are allegedly linked to the Italian mafia. And in Australia, they operated in motorcycle gangs like the Outlaws and Asian crime syndicates, and also Albanian organised crime gangs. All of these were charged under Operation Ironside, and this is a long-term international plan between Australian police, FBI and Europol. After working in partnership with the Operation Safecracking to take down the encrypted phone platform Phantom, the AFP and FBI worked together to fill the vacuum that had been left. They gained access to a new app called Anom, and they began running it without the knowledge of the criminal underworld. The AFP provided highly skilled technical staff and the capabilities to decrypt and read encrypted messages sent in real time between criminals. The AFP Commissioner, Reece Kershaw, thanked the FBI for their cooperation, along with 18 countries that worked with them to maintain the integrity of the platform to make it seem like it was a genuine site. So this is genuine warfare. This is psychological warfare. This is actually manipulating technology to mess with their heads, because criminals are not going to know what the hell to do and who to trust. And that is exactly the plan. As part of the global operation, 9,000 officers from law enforcement agencies were deployed for international efforts. Commissioner Kershaw acknowledged the significant resources provided by the Australian state and territory police during the days to make them arrests. They say today Australia is a much safer place due to this, and the world first operation led by the Australian police and the territory police has gained a lot of intelligence and information. There is a potential for a number of cases that will be solved because of this operation in the future. However, tomorrow and in the future, law enforcement agencies will still come up against serious problems. The phone network Anom was an influential encrypted network, similar to Encrochat and Sky ECC. But they said that it was even bigger than the previous platforms, and they was being used by gangsters that was at high ranking in Australia. They said the application was installed on mobile phones and stripped of all other capabilities. The mobile phones were sold on the black market and could not send calls or send emails. They could only send messages to another device that used the same application. Criminals needed to know a criminal to get the same device, and it seems they was using Google Pixel phones that are Android operated. So these are terrible networks anyway, and notoriously flawed. The devices were created and circulated by the FBI and grew in popularity among criminals who were confident of its legitimacy because high-profile crime figures were vouching for their integrity. There is one criminal that they're trying to put a lot of this responsibility onto, and it's a man called Hakim Ayik. And he has fled the country, and the Sydney Morning Herald did an article about how they tracked him down and exposed where he was. They are trying to say that he was one of the first criminals to be given this network by an undercover police officer. They're now saying that in some way he is responsible for the fact that this has been taken down. But of course, this is more psychological mind games by the police. Since the beginning of organised crime, there has always been infiltrations and setups and all these sort of things. So as long as he didn't know that this was an undercover police officer, then of course he's not responsible. He just made a mistake. It happens in the underworld. It's a risk they have to take. But the way the Australian police are marketing this to the press, they're trying to make the underworld turn against him. And I find this quite interesting. So already we have the FBI creating entrapment applications. And then on top of that, you've got the Australian police trying to turn criminals against one of their own. And they said they disrupted a lot of the criminal underworld in the Victoria area with the help of the federal police. So in the UK, we have OCGs, which are organised crime gangs. But in Australia, they have so many bike gangs. They call them MCGs, organised motorcycle crime gangs. And they alleged that they were conspiring to import 1.7 tons of cocaine and methamphetamine, and 7 arrests have been made in relation to just one of them operations. And this would have been exactly the same as Encrochat. If not better, they would have literally had access to everything. And in relation to the man that they say is one of the people they're after in Turkey, Hakim Ayik, in relation to the article they did on him, they say a video emerged of him in Istanbul, and they say he's a crime boss who has gone on the run many times. They describe him as the Facebook gangster. And this is something that I see a lot in Australian press, where they make fun of the criminals to try to undermine them and to not glamorise it as much. They say that the video posted in February on an Instagram account in Istanbul is blurry, but he offers a video of the wanted man. The snippet of information led to more information, and an investigation by the Sydney Morning Herald discovered where he had been staying. They found him at events, they found him with his family. They accused the 31-year-old of using his friendship with a triad gang leader called Manmar Kong Ho to negotiate access to a drug pipeline controlled by the most powerful triads in the world, a group called The Company, and this has drug labs in southern China, Myanmar, Cambodia, and also Thailand. The following year, the company kidnapped Ho, they said, after an importation Ayak and Ho had organised was seized by police. The police tapped his phone, and this suggested that he'd paid a £300,000 ransom to get his friend released. They say the event may have prompted Ayak to expand his ambitions yet again and cut out the middleman. When police covertly downloaded a mobile phone app in his luggage in Sydney Airport in 2009, they found a selfie of him inside a pharmaceutical factory in India and documents outlining the purchase of vast quantities of drug-making chemicals. The evidence suggested that Ayik was planning his own industrial-scale super-synthetic drug laboratory in the subcontinent in India. Ayik was adept to developing what serving and forming policing officials describe as doors to opening up new routes into Australia. He also cultivated contacts inside the government departments in 2009. Police officers in Wales were charged with helping him to access information. So this is going back as far as 2009, and this guy has still been operating up until this point, and he's still wanted. By 2009, they say his network was directing a corrupt customs official to bring in importations. The official was eventually arrested, and police discovered 40 kilograms of liquid methamphetamines or ice during a raid on his home. In 2010, the Australian Commission and Federal Police, as part of an operation called Hoffman, gained evidence implicating AYAC in a 200 kilo heroin importation and drug distribution that involved train freight and also light aircraft. AYAC was next heard of in 2010 when the local media reported that he had fled across the border in Cyprus. He was arrested a month later and they found him with drug production equipment and 8 mobile phones. He was placed on bail and fled again. Meanwhile, in Australia, the police were busy trying to seize the things that he owned, like his Harley Davidson and his apartment that was in Sydney Chinatown, and he had shareholdings in several companies, and it did little to slow him down as he used his offshore accounts and celebrated his 40th birthday abroad. They believe that he was responsible for introducing entire encrypted communication platforms to Australia that allowed criminals to send messages without fear of interception. He introduced Phantom Secure and was taken out by the FBI and Australian police in 2018. And another one was called Cypher, and AYAC introduced a third one called Anon. So this just goes to show the way that criminal networks are connected worldwide. So now the police are trying to connect themselves worldwide, work together in order to take them out. This is definitely the biggest, I believe, that they've ever done in relation to directly setting people up on an application, because everything that was given freely. No matter what they say with encryption, the way that the criminals are so sophisticated nowadays, the governments are definitely moving the goalposts. They're definitely not going to make it easy in the future for criminals to operate. And as I said at the beginning, this is definitely more of a psychological warfare as much as it is a technological warfare. So I really appreciate you joining me today. Don't forget to visit our website at scarcitystudios.com and follow us on social medias as well. And I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.
Keep